Well, hey everyone, welcome again to a chance to just talk together as a group about how to continue to raise our ability to care for and support one another when we face struggles and challenges. Again, you might be the person who's dealing with this, or maybe you know someone who is. But just learning to listen well and to be the kind of supportive, listening presence in the middle of someone else's struggle or challenge can be so healing and powerful. And honestly, it's what God's called us to do when he says to bear one another's burdens, to care for each other, to pray for each other, to love each other. That's why community is such a key piece of this. And just once again to remind you, we've already talked about two of the first and most important quadrants, I think, probably the ones that most of us need to do the most growing in, and that is be present, that idea of acceptance and attunement and validation and identification and containment and comfort. Go back and watch those videos if you want to explore what those all mean. So be present and convey the good. Just have chances to affirm each other, to encourage each other, to respect each other and provide hope for one another or forgiveness for one another or just to celebrate each other. These things are some of the best stuff that we can bring to a group experience and that we can share and enjoy together. It's part of what God does through others in our lives. I was talking with a good friend of mine this week who's in a group, and he shared as he was listening with his group to some of these concepts and ideas, he inside wanted to just shout amen again and again. Because he had been through a season of real struggle and challenge and found it difficult to really open up and be honest without people automatically resorting to trying to fix or solve or tell him what he ought to do. Friends, just listening can be so healing. So let's continue to grow in that together. But as we move to these last two quadrants, the one we'll talk about this week and the one we'll discuss next, these are ones that really begin to become more important to really do in more of a one-on-one setting. Because here's the danger. For example, let's talk about what we mean today. Quadrant 3 is provide reality. When we try to provide reality to each other, give feedback or even confrontation in a group setting, it is so easy for that to take on a sort of ganging up feel or a sort of them against me feel. And that is going to be the opposite of what we're trying to achieve and experience in a group setting. That's why in a group, it's so good to be present and convey the good, but then look for opportunities later to reach out one-on-one and say, I so appreciated what you opened up about in group. And privately, one-on-one, can we talk more about what it was you shared? I had some thoughts about what you said and that might be helpful. Would you be open to hearing? Just asking permission, doing that in an honoring one-on-one way can be so disarming and so much better received than maybe what feels like pointing fingers or everybody doing some sort of intervention on a person in the group. So let's look specifically at some of these ideas of providing reality. Sometimes you can provide reality just by clarification. It's just to ask, hey, what did you mean by that? Or tell me more about what it is you were feeling there. Just get a little more clarity on exactly what the person meant or what they were trying to say. Again, so beautiful to do one-on-one and can be sometimes done in a group, but has to be done with real caution and care. The second thing, perspective. Often when you're hearing someone share, you may say something like, it seems to me that this is a pattern you guys have been dealing with for a long time, and pointing out some of those sorts of patterns that you see in as loving and gentle a way as possible. Pulling them aside and offering that kind of feedback can be invaluable. The next concept is really that of insight. Maybe you do have some personal experience or some insight into what they said. And maybe in a non-threatening for you kind of way, you can share that with the person there in your group. The next one is more obvious. It's the word feedback. It's just giving a personal response to what it is that you see them saying and doing. And then the last one, and again, to be used with such caution, is confrontation. And that's really challenging someone that maybe it's time to make a change. Now, I'll tell you, in my own growth and my own life, I am eternally thankful for the people who've come into my life and been willing to provide reality for me. I needed to know they were for me. I needed to have them present. I needed them to care about how I was hurting and to convey the good that they saw in what I was working my way through. But my goodness, God so used their willingness to lovingly, gently provide reality to me. Again, friends, most of us are going to go here too soon. So before you jump to quadrant 3, double down on quadrants 1 and 2 so that people understand. I'm not here to fix you. I am for you. You are my friend. I care about you, and I want nothing more than to help. Again, my life's been changed by people who loved me enough to do that for me, and we have the chance to get to do that for each other. Wisely, gently, lovingly, just like Jesus does with us, without shame, without accusation, but with a gentle desire to help us continue to grow and mature. We get to do that for each other. You get to do that in your group. And I can't wait to see how God continues to grow us and use us as we care for each other well.